Hey y'all, this is my review for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the reunion, part 1 of 3. Thank God. As y'all know, I'm still in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Today is Wednesday. I'm here until tomorrow. I apologize again for the late videos. You know, a ninja has a life. And I'm also really behind, so yeah, it's gonna be this, and then my Jersey review, and then for the Miami watchers, I have not forgotten. I'm gonna do 2 episodes of those back to back. Oh, and I got the Patreon too. So yeah, I got my work cut out for me. But anywho, let's get into this episode. So Bravo, they had to give us a disclaimer before this reunion started. I think this is a first. So they let us know the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion was taped prior to Jenny's social posts becoming public and her subsequent departure from the series. Those posts are not addressed in the show. Of course not. Of course not. They took long enough to even address her racist posts, but yeah, the ratings I hear aren't that great, but we shall see. But let's get into this. Ooh, I forgot about these horrible fashions. I mean, they debuted these like a month ago, so for the reunion just to be airing now, oh God, like why do we even care anymore? I'm gonna get through this, y'all, though. We got 3 parts. This set, by the way, I noticed there's like a little ice fishing circle in the middle. Very random. Of course, we start out with the behind the scenes look of the ladies getting ready. It's like 7 a.m. They all get in their respective trailers getting ready. Heather says the friendship group is in crisis. We see Whitney, she's watching the episodes that was sent to them because they're sent like the rest of the season before the reunion. It looks like she's cramming it in and she didn't watch it before she got there. And then we got wonky-eyed Andy visiting Jen in her trailer just saying, I'm glad you're here. And, you know, because she really could have just not showed up because of all the stuff that's going on with her. Andy also wants to make sure that we know, as well as Jen, that he did not feed Erica any type of questions before she got there. Erica didn't get any favoritism, so she won't either, and it's going to be fair. Andy then goes to Meredith's trailer and talks to her a bit about her finding out what Lisa said behind the scenes while still mic'd. Yeah, it looks like they're not friends anymore. Revolting is Meredith's favorite word, next to disengaging. Revolting, disengaging. Ugh, their sets are so ugly. We have not even started the episode yet, y'all. I apologize. I just have so many thoughts on this. We see all the ladies walking on set, and then we see racist Jenny there, and it just sucks that I can't imitate Lisa saying Jenny anymore because, you know, racist Jenny ain't shit. So all the ladies with the exception of Mary come on set, and it looks like all the ladies did not know that Mary wasn't coming. So after Jen is asked to take off her hideous gloves, we can finally start this goddamn reunion. So Andy's just welcoming the ladies and, you know, telling Jenny that welcome to your first reunion. And your last. And your last. Bye, Ashy. All the ladies are reacting to Andy saying that Mary isn't coming. He tells them that he talked to her and she said that she did not appreciate what they said about her church, about Whitney calling her a predator. I don't remember that scene. I do think because of the time frame that the reunion was shot, because it was shot before the whole Jenny mess came out, it would be a very, very different reunion. I think Mary would have came then. But I think she just didn't want to be held to the fire about her prejudiced statements. She knew that she had a lot to answer for. And yeah, I'm guessing that she just felt like it wasn't worth her coming. Oh, and it's bye Ashy for her too. I didn't like Mary. I'm sorry for y'all that actually like Mary, especially the black people who aren't aware of Mary's statements that she said about black people in season 1. But it's okay. If y'all can overlook that, fine. Heather, what? She said Mary said so many insightful things in her confessionals. What, one of those calling you an embry, was that insightful? And already Heather's coming for Lisa, saying Mary said in her confessional that Lisa just can't be real. I'm glad that somebody pointed out, oh, so Whitney being a whore, was that true as well? You being inbred. I really want somebody to bring that up because she said that you were inbred. Oh my God, here we go. They kissing Mary's ass so they all don't come off as racist. I really hate that. I really do. Mary was a cuckoo clock that was right twice a day. That's it. Meredith, the show not being healthy for Mary, I think Mary was already unhealthy before the show. So Andy starts with Jen and lets her know that you are facing all of these charges, maximum 30 years in prison with an additional charge of money laundering with a sentence of up to 20 years. How are you doing? And she says she feels devastated for her family. She seems just so calm. And she says she wasn't thinking about quitting the show because she knows that she's innocent. Her lawyers are against her, being at the reunion or whatever, but she is so calm to be facing all that time. She also says her trial is set for March 22nd. That's in like 3 weeks from now. And it's going to be in New York. I might have to go down to the courthouse. Child, they making jokes about the trial, saying she'll show up to court in that reunion outfit. I'm glad they can laugh now. I mean, we'll see. We're now talking about the beginning of the season, which felt so long ago, how Jen was going on this apology tour and how she started out with Heather. She apologized to her. And of course, Heather, she has Stockholm syndrome when it comes to Jen. Like, she will never not be Jen's friend. I can totally see Heather visiting Jen in jail when she gets a guilty verdict. Heather then confirms with Jen next to her, saying that, you didn't mean that, did you? And she says no. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll just wait till the next time y'all get into an argument. Somehow, Lisa gets dragged in this conversation. Heather's like, oh, Lisa has called me horrible things. And Lisa's like, well, I didn't call you Shrek. I don't know, like Heather and Lisa, they just have this weird relationship where Heather, I guess, really wanted Lisa's friendship and then Lisa kind of like blew her off. So now it's like Heather has this vendetta against Lisa. It's like she won't give Lisa a pass, but she'll definitely give her friend Jen a pass. Oop, and then Heather just throws in Lisa's face what she said about her own friend Meredith of 10 years. Child, after the commercial break, Heather and Lisa are still going at it. And then Andy messy ass, he's like, did you call her a Lego figure? It's a little accurate, Heather. I'm sorry. A Lego figure. All right. Let's move on. So Andy gets back to the topic at hand of Jen apologizing to Meredith. Meredith, she completely breaks down. She first starts to apologize to Jen of whatever she said about her family, and she said she was going through some things that kind of made her behavior erratic, times 1,000. Now, I was just, contributing that to the pills and maybe some drinking, a combination of that, but she's saying there's a bunch of things that was going behind the scenes that she couldn't talk about. Her father dying, some family infighting. While she's doing this, like, Lisa's just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure if it's bullshit or not. Meredith was contributing that for her change in behavior from season 1 to season 2. I'm guessing this was the reason why she just couldn't find in her heart to forgive Jen, because it wasn't just about the Brooks thing. It was about other things that was happening to her, I guess. Wow, so it looks like Jen and Meredith are actually cordial. She said she watched the season and Jen was actually kind to her. I mean, and the camera just staying on Lisa for her reactions. And then Meredith says that Jen throughout the season has treated her more kind than her best friend of 10 years, Lisa, which is a dagger to Lisa right now. Yeah, I agree with Lisa. Like, y'all doing some revisionist history here because Lisa was the one that tried to get y'all together. And now it's like, oh, well, she was just so kind to me. We all watched the season, so I gotta give it to Lisa. This is some BS right now. Like, they really are turning Lisa into the scapegoat. Like, I get it. She's annoying, she's backstabbing, she's manipulative, but some of this stuff ain't her fault. So now we're focusing on racist Jenny right now because she's been quiet the entire time. We're like 20 minutes in. Andy's asking her, what does it feel like being an immigrant of color in Salt Lake City? Interesting. So interesting. But yeah, she says that, it's been a little bit difficult because of her thick accent. And then we hear how long Lisa and her have been friends. I wonder if they're still friends now. So then it's brought up that Heather called racist Jenny one of Lisa's minions and how she's easily influenced by Lisa. And Jenny does not appreciate that. Did I think she was a minion? I think racist Jenny had her own racist mind, but Lisa just manipulates people in general. Also, side note, it is so crazy how Jenny is closer to Andy than Meredith. Like, Meredith is just way off to the side. Heather versus Lisa, part 3. Like, oh my God. Lisa's basically trying to make her case that she does not manipulate people. Girl, you do. You're just bad at covering it up. At least Lisa Vanderpump, she was sneaky with her manipulation. With you, it's obvious. Damn, even Meredith don't have Lisa back in this one. I mean, it's basically everybody except Jenny versus Lisa. Uh-oh, so now we're talking about Mary's prejudice from Marx in regards to Jenny, and then what she said about Jen regarding Mexican thugs. So now Jenny is talking about Asian hate, you know, how she's just so discriminated against. And I'm not gonna downplay that, but I can't help but see the irony in this situation given what all we know now. And now they're putting Meredith in the hot seat regarding Mary's comments on 2 occasions. The first one is when Meredith was imitating her accent, and all Meredith did was, let's not do that. And the second time was when, and I was offended by this too. Well, I don't know if that's offensive or not. You have the Asian lady right here saying it was offensive, or the party that was just offended by it. And in any situation, regardless of what Jenny has posted, I don't want some white person telling a minority what's offensive or not. But again, I'm just letting y'all know I'm not defending racist Jenny, but in that moment, in that particular moment, Meredith was wrong. So then we get to Heather's anime comment, and honestly, you know, I watch a lot of anime, and I didn't see it as offensive, but now that Jenny says it was offensive, I'm like, okay, fine. But there's been times where I've said black people look like anime characters, white people, Latino, and then, you know, I go to cosplay events like a Comic-Con where you see people dressed as anime characters, so that's how I saw it at first. But if Jenny says it's offensive, it's offensive. And, you know, Jenny's a racist now, so I don't really care about this situation anymore. Let's move on. So now Andy asks Meredith, do you regret sticking up for Mary so hard this season? And she says, you know, she does regret the whole Jenny situation. Then she said, I don't think I was riding that hard for Mary. What? So then now Jenny and Meredith are going at it, and Jenny for some reason can't even look Meredith in the eye addressing her. She's just like, well, I told you this, I told you, and she's right there. So it's a little awkward. And then Meredith tells her, well, Jenny, I just feel like you've been attacking me all season. That's why I couldn't really have your back like that. So then Jenny challenges Meredith on how she's been attacking her all season. And then Meredith actually goes down the line on different examples. First, she says on how she judged her in the beginning of the season, only meeting her once. Second time, she says how she meddled between her and Jen's friendship with the whole private investigator thing, which was kind of a technicality. And then the third time she says, well, you didn't like when Mary gave you a used gift, but you gave my husband used golf balls. Jenny is kind of just like tongue-tied. She was like, what? And apparently maybe her husband gave her used golf balls. I don't know. But then Meredith jokes to Andy like, you should put it in the clubhouse, Andy. And then shady ass Andy says, well, I don't think it's iconic enough. And I'm not sure if Jenny just didn't respond to Meredith on those claims, but Andy just moves on to a different question. Andy asks Lisa, is she surprised how Meredith has been protecting Mary, especially with the ignorant comments? And Lisa was like, yeah, normally because with Meredith, she's more vocal about it. And then Meredith speaks up and says, well, I definitely know Meredith in private and I've talked to her. And Andy brings up a good point. It's like, what's the point of all this if you don't call her out in person? Exactly. Oops, so now we're calling out racist Jenny. So one of the questions is, well, you're calling out Mary on imitating your accent. What about whenever you get angry, you dip into a black scent and rolling your neck and wagging your finger? Damn, and in production, they have like a whole reel of Jenny just doing this and doing that. Jenny responds by saying that she grew up in Long Beach, which is the reason why she has that accent when she gets angry. Now, then she asks all the other ladies, do I have a black scent? And then all the other ladies are just looking at each other. Lord, like this is the only franchise where they're just so scared to speak up because they're scared to sound racist. I just don't get that. But just saying, and I'm not defending Jenny, but you know, I grew up in New Orleans and we have a really high Vietnamese population. It's in Michoud. I do know Asians who definitely like grew up in black communities. I'm not saying Jenny did because she's a fucking liar. I just know Asians in that community who developed inflections being raised in that environment. Now, we can have a nuanced discussion about this in the comments, just don't come for me, because I will come for you. So then Jenny is asked about her throwing that glass at Mary, and she said she didn't have an intent on hitting Mary. She wanted to hit Mary, she would have hit her with the glass. She just threw it on the floor, and she just thought that was okay for some reason. Because if Mary came back and bopped you over the head, she would have been warranted. I like how they just hurry up and address this so we don't have to worry about this in parts 2 or 3. So after this, I think Jenny can just stop speaking for the next 2 parts. Andy just asked Jenny, do you like Mary? She's like, no. And it's only because she don't like me. So then Jen surprisingly comes to Mary's defense and is like, well, the first time y'all got into it, and this was the first time, Jenny came in hot and was just like, would everybody just shut the fuck up? And she said it was just too much for Mary, and it's Miriam Cosby. And Jenny was like, well, I apologized to her while I was doing her makeup. Jen is like, it doesn't matter because it is Mary M. Cosby. Like, we all know she's crazy. So once you're on Mary's bad side, I mean, it's hard to get back on her good side, I guess. Neither of these bitches is back on the season, so I don't care. Oh goodness, I did not foresee this going on. So now Heather is saying that Mary can be a little racist. And then Andy says he talked to Mary and he was like, she said black people can't be racist. And then you hear Jenny saying, actually, everyone can be racist. Actually, y'all, black people can't be racist. They can't. They can be prejudiced, but not racist. Sorry. Yeah, Andy, y'all definitely need to take a break. We'll be right back. So they get back from commercial break, and you damn right they changed the topic. Now they're talking about the whole Angie situation. Remember her? She looked like Sarah Paulson, and I wanted her to be a part of the season. She just disappeared at the end. So after the reel, Andy asks all the ladies, who here thinks that Lisa is a pot stirrer? Everybody raised their hand except Jenny. And then Jen actually says that Whitney's a pot stirrer too, and I agree with that. She's not the only pot stirrer. Like, Heather, you're a pot stirrer, as well as Whitney. Whitney and Heather, bad weather. So now we get to the question for Lisa. Did you sabotage Angie's event? She whips out a whole folder, a binder, if you will. Thank you, iconic Monique from Real Housewives of Potomac. She gives the receipts to Andy and just gives him a text log of Angie's messages to the caterer or whatever. Now, I'm confused with this because it happened so long ago, y'all. It happened near like the beginning of the season. So now it's just like, are we supposed to care? Because so much shit has happened since then. And Angie's not even on the show anymore. Again, we have Heather versus Lisa, round 58. They're going back and forth about Lisa being fake, how they're friends with Angie now and it's killing Lisa. Heather's telling Lisa, it's okay, we love you as you are. I just can't. I want to be like Andy and just move on. I don't care if that Lisa was the one that sabotaged Angie's event. I just want to move on from it. So Andy is just like, you said you like Lisa as she is. And Heather was like, yeah, I do. I love this person because she's real. Not some caricature of some woman who read a teen magazine on how to be a cool, mean girl. Oh my God. I mean, this is like a rehash of the first reunion. Like, Lisa and Heather just keep getting into it. If this is going to be like 3 parts, I don't know, y'all. Oh, Lord. So now we're talking about when Lisa was talking to Jen about the dress designer and she brought him up on camera. Andy's asking Jen, do you think it was like calculated for Lisa to bring him up? Or did you think she was just trying to protect you from Whitney? Of course, Lisa's saying she meant it as, oh, you're holding me to a different standard, but Whitney, your friend, is hanging out with this guy. And now it's turned into a back and forth between Lisa and Heather again. At the end of the day, Jen did this gentleman wrong. She berated him, I think threw something at him too, and now they're all arguing over whether they should bring up his name or not because Jen abused him verbally. That's what I don't get. That's the main point. And now they're talking about Lisa's Fresh Wolf event, and I think she put the blame on her sons for the invite list. But Lisa was saying, yeah, Whitney was a last minute invite, and she's trying to explain the reason why she didn't invite Jen. So I agree with Lisa on this. The reason why she didn't invite Jen, because Jen just bit her head off about mentioning this designer that she verbally abused. So yeah, like I wouldn't feel comfortable after we just had this spat between each other to invite you to my event. I don't know. A lot of people are just kissing Jen's ass right now, and I don't like it. And how the hell is anybody questioning Lisa's character when they really should be questioning Jen's character for stealing from old people? So Lisa says, I love Jen Shaw, as controversial as that may be. This ticks off Jen. She was like, okay, you could have just left out the controversial part, because honestly, it's controversial for me to be your friend. Jen, it ain't the same thing, girl. It is controversial for anybody to be your friend now. Okay, and that is where they leave off the cliffhanger of Jen just blowing up on Lisa just now. So far, I'm not digging this reunion. This is going to be a hard review for me, y'all. Because it's just Heather versus Lisa right now. Racist Jenny is just, her arc is done. She has nothing without Mary. So she's going to be quiet. Meredith in her she's on the end of the couch just talking. I can't wait to see what she has to say about Lisa's mic leak. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this episode. I'm about to get to Jersey now, so make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.